later. But I think a lot of reflections regarding like culture, your values, adulting, work, relationship, dating, everything. But I'll try to keep this video. I have notes and make this like an hour long video. Hello everyone. I am super excited to be making this video. I feel like I am already like a YouTuber, like a vlogger, but this is not going to be a vlog. This video is going to be about things that I've learned about being in the US for over 8 years as an immigrant and being away from my friends and family. So to give you a background, my name is Rojina. I am 27 years old and I've been living in the US since I was 19. So I moved to US after my high school, and I was born and raised in Nepal all my 19 years of life. I didn't have any clue or what life outside my home country would look like. And I just had this thought of studying abroad or moving abroad for my undergrad after high school, because typically in Nepal, high school is until grade 12, and then after 12 it's college, bachelor's, master's, whatever you call it. So I started applying for colleges and universities all across US, and I was a student who excelled in all the subjects in Nepal. And back home, education is something that is focused upon and you were supposed to study. And I think I was in a boarding school and my education was my sole priority. So we would go to school from 9 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. at night. And I had other skill sets, and I used to take part in like debate, sports competition, and so and so, but education was my main focus. And I was lucky to attend college, which is grade 11 and 12 in Nepal, in a scholarship. And then my main goal was to look for scholarships to fund my education in the US. And mind you, I did not know the expensive costs of being an out-of-state student in the US, but I got a scholarship to study in a university in Mississippi. And I was a business student. I was an accounting major at that time. And then I came to Mississippi, zero expectations, but also I was watching Friends, Grey's Anatomy, and all that show to get familiar with the US culture, language, and whatever. And then, funny, we came to Mississippi, nothing looked like what was shown in Friends or Grey's Anatomy. So it was a little bit of a shock to me, but I like the independence. I like having friends, and I got to live with friends, because back home I rarely had sleepovers. I had a group of friends, but not a lot of social interaction going on in Nepal. So I moved to US, and then I lived in Mississippi for like a year, moved to Texas, lived there for 2 years, got my associate's degree. I didn't finish my bachelor's in Mississippi because I moved to Texas, and then I came to California, and now I'm based in East Bay, where I'm recording this video from. But I still haven't got my bachelor's degree. Gradually, when I started like working part-time in Mississippi, we had to get our social security number, all the paperwork. I had no clue what that meant. But I got a good on-campus job, and then was making money, and it was not that expensive living in Mississippi at that time. And then I come to Texas, which is a little bit more expensive, I would say. Yeah, that's when I started like thinking about finances, and I was like, oh, credit, debit cards. And mind you, no one teaches about credit cards especially, or like credit finances in US. And I was an independent woman, but I didn't know how to budget or what credit score meant. So I think I had to learn a lesson hard way, because I was maxing out my credit cards. I wasn't paying credit cards in full, and now I'm able to pay off my own credit card debt. And then I think the soaring cost of being a student in the US as an outsider, as an immigrant, I would say is really high. And then if you don't do your research beforehand coming to any university in UK, US, any European countries, I think you're going to be faced with the reality of, oh, this is what being a student is like. Oh, this is the cost of books expense. Oh, this is the cost of attending clubs or going to in-person events within the school, and networking and all that stuff that comes with getting an education. I think people don't realize there are costs of getting an education, and it's a privilege. It's a right to have an education. And I'm almost done with my school, but the reason I had to take a pause was at the time I didn't qualify for the state tuition, and I had to pay out of state tuition, so I ended up putting a semester in my tuition in the credit card. and that I'm paying it off. So I'm super grateful that I've been on a credit card payoff journey since 2 years, and that came after a period of realization that I need to take care of my finances. I need to stop spending impulsively and just start living life for myself. Because when I was in Texas, I was just turning 21, and then I was like, oh, drink, party, and not being an overspender, but I was spending a lot in stuff that I should not have spent. So yes, I think lesson number one: if you are coming to the US or any other country other than your home country, or if you're going for studies or anything, just make sure to have your finances in check and plan ahead. Research the universities. Research is the most important thing that you should do. And then taking care of your finances, learning the financial tips, learning the financial hacks, and just being financially wealthy in terms of like knowledge, I would say. I think that's really important. And then once I had this wake-up call of, oh, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your finances? And I was like, oh my god, I need to just be a responsible spender and be a saver thing. And the other part that people don't talk about that much being abroad is the amount of like paperwork forms that you need to be familiar with. And when I was starting my job in Mississippi, an on-campus job, I had to sign a bunch of other forms that people didn't explain. And I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does insurance mean? And also the healthcare, yes, which I think I'm going to go over in the next video. But yes, there's a bunch of legal and then a bunch of like other paperwork that you need to familiarize yourself with. And I think it also helps asking for help from your advisor in your university or people who have done that before you. So joining Facebook groups, asking people for help, I think is a really helpful tip in terms of success and getting ahead of the forms and everything. So when I was applying for my work permit too, I had to fill out the paperwork, take pictures, and submit proof of a bunch of stuff, because they ask for those stuff here when filling out those paperwork. So I think it's really important to do your research online, either ask for help from students, people, and friends who have done that before you, so that you can familiarize and get accustomed with those paperwork, because it will help you and then it can help the people who are coming after you also. And the other thing is just like how much people work in the US, and people work in Nepal. I think we work 6 days a week. We used to go to school 6 days a week. There was only 1 day off. But even then, I feel like there's a healthy balance between work and your personal life in Nepal. Whereas here, I think we're so focused on working, and in this capitalist economy, just working, hustle culture, like if I'm not working, I'm getting lazy. And that sort of mindset, I think I had to come to terms with, and I'm still learning. I have a good work ethic, I get things done in time, but sometimes there are days where I don't get motivated, and then when I slack off, I am hard on myself. So I think the work ethic part is finding a balance between what works for you and not listening to other people. I think that's really important, because sometimes we get caught up in like listening to other people's voices, advice, tips, and tricks. And what works for me might work for you and might not work for you. So I think it's really important to find your own secret sauce in finding that balance, work-life balance in a personal and professional life. I think that's really important. My main point is just being open to places, people, relationships, and being able to take that in with a sprinkle of salt. And so I think this video is getting long, but thank you so much for listening and being here. I'm just starting making videos, and I think I really do think that my experiences and my wisdom of being an immigrant in the US or abroad will help other people who will come after me, and that's my main goal of creating this video. So on the next part, I'm gonna touch base on navigating relationships, dating, career, and a lot of stuff. So stay tuned for a part 2 or a next video where you get to learn more about me, and I hope this video helped. Make sure to follow, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.